Tsai. Welcome to Let's Talk. And today is Friday, and I'm ending my week with a gorgeous golden Barbie, as you may know her on Instagram, as well. You might know her as Jasmine Sanders. So welcome, Jasmine.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited.
Well, I'm so happy you're here today. And everyone, I just want to give her a big shout out and thank her for an amazing donation of $1,575 this morning, enabling us to bring in over 4,000 masks to the first responders. And with her special request,
we actually did 5,000.
Oh, 5,000 masks.
Yeah.
And with her, yes, because because we're going to throw in another 500 to get that number over that. And by the way, the mask will not only go to the first responders in New York, it will also go to Hampton Regional Medical Center in South Carolina, where your heart truly lies, with your home, right? This is where you lived before.
Well, I normally, I'm from Columbia, South Carolina, but my best friend, Vanessa Woods, lives in Hampton, South Carolina, and works there. So she is going to be hand delivering and making sure that it gets to everybody there, and also helping herself, because they just had crazy tornadoes and stuff in the middle of the night, which completely freaked me out. I don't know if you checked out my stories that night, but I never get on like my Instagram and just talk. And I was just like, I am freaking out right now because I know my parents are older and they're sleeping and they're not paying attention to things. And yeah, I had to call my parents to make sure they were okay. But I was really excited that my friend Vanessa could reach out to me and let me know that it was even going on, because I didn't have the alerts on my phone to let me know something was happening there. And also to send me her address right away and let me know where I could donate and everything. So.
And if anybody out there you guys wish to support, you can go to the website that you see on the page, liveletstalk.com. And
it's really easy too, because I hate websites that are hard. And I literally was like, donate, PayPal, boom, we got
Well, with your help today, we're going to send over 50,000 masks total already within the last 2 weeks. And
that's awesome. That is crazy, by the way.
Well, thank you to people like you and people like Mila Jovovich and all the SI team have really been so supportive of this cause that we put together. So every single day.
Thank you to MJ in New York too. Because I'm like, she's hand delivering. We need her.
So that's the thing, guys, out there. So you know that a lot of people want to know how they can help. And money does help you by supply, but the problem is that you can't get it to the hands of people because we have too much red tape with different organizations. Yeah. So we are in direct contact with EMTs, firefighters, and administrative people at the hospital. And MJ's husband is a doctor. He's hand delivering these masks to the ones that need it. So thank you all very much. And with that, we're going to jump right in to learn a little bit more about Golden Barbie.
Oh gosh.
Are you guys ready for this? Because I want to know, how did you come up with the name Golden Barbie when you were looking for an Instagram name?
Okay, so I have my sister to blame for that. We were trying to figure out a name. I'm back in the MySpace days. So this is, even now, like, I'm on Twitter and I'm like, the people that I grew up with on Twitter are not on Twitter right now. They're not tweeting the way that I tweet and like putting up a bunch of nonsense. But no, we just tried to figure out a name that we could come up with on MySpace. And a lot of my teacher used to call me Goldilocks in school. Really, my hair. And then my friends used to call me, like, say that I used to look like a Barbie doll and stuff. So I was like, okay, well, let's put it together and see what works. And I don't know, we stuck with it. Like, my email used to be Miss Life Size Barbie. Like, it was very extra. I did the whole thing. But I was also obsessed with Barbie, so it just made sense.
Perfect. You can sit in the middle now. The type is.
Thank you.
There we are.
I was like, it's so hard to sit to the side if you can't tell.
Well, guys, technology does drive us crazy with this IG Live. If we accidentally get cut off, we'll come right back. So just join us.
And it's really hard because I am trying my hardest not to even look at the comments. I'm like, he's going to do that.
Yeah, we're not looking at those comments. We're going to look at the questions and we'll answer them. Yeah. Well, I know you started modeling at such a young age, and you were a teen model, right? You were doing kids work already.
I started modeling at 13. Yeah, so I started really young, but I was able to work with like amazing photographers. Like I didn't get to you yet. I got to you later on.
Later.
But I got to work with Walter Chin,
Mm.
and I also got to work with Patrick Lemargier very early. So that was a really big thing for me, and being in like Glamour magazine and 17 magazine at a young age, and having the opportunity to go from South Carolina and going up to New York in the middle of class. Like I'm supposed to be in school with everybody else in high school, and I'm running to New York with my mom to do castings or get a quick photo shoot done, but doing my homework and everything on the side and making sure that I keep a certain grade point average so that I can stay going on my trips but keep my principal happy at the same time. So it was really a balance between having amazing parents that believed in me and pushed me and were just like, look, if that's what you want to do, great, we're going to support you. But at the same time, you know that your books are very important first. And also my teachers that were really, really awesome and really supportive, and always made sure, like, whether it was me calling in and like just checking in to see what work I missed or just anything, like they were always on top of it and very supportive. So if anything, it was like I just miss not being able to play sports and stuff, because my coach was like, you're not here for the games, so you can't play.
Did you went through an awkward stage with a little bit of self-consciousness when it comes to modeling? Because I know a lot of girls at that age, even I growing up, we kind of had to grow into our own self-confidence. How did you have that maturity at age of 13 to be so confident to get photographed?
Oh, I definitely wasn't really confident back then. My confidence, like, literally came a year ago.
Wow, we're gonna talk about that.
No, but like full confidence, because I feel like you have to really grow and get to know yourself and like take the time to pay attention to the little things that may have bothered you. Even if it's like, oh my God, that person bullied me about this. Why did it bother you so much that they were bullying you about that? Like, why isn't that like something that you love and embrace about yourself and you enjoy? So I had to look at myself different, whether it was like body issues or just anything, whether it was the industry telling me or like friends at school or whatever. Like my dad was like, do you remember that phase when you only wore jeans? Like it would be 100 degrees in South Carolina and I would be sweating my butt off, and I didn't care because I was like, yeah, well, I have really skinny legs and I have really weird knees and I don't want to show them off. But it was only because people talked about them in school. And I was like, I don't want to be that girl. Well, I'm in Sports Illustrated and I'm showing off every part of my knees and my legs and everything. Well, you just got to deal with it now.
Well, what's interesting, because we do grow up and knowing that, for me, back when I was younger, I hated my nose. I'm like, oh my God, if everything I would change.
You hated your nose?
Well, because as Asian people, that we always aspire to have Western nose. We want, and I grew into my nose. I'm very
You have
happy
like
with my
the
nose.
same nose. Mind you, I have a nice little highlight on mine, but we have the same nose.
So we all go through this weird insecurities, and I know for a fact that when I was younger, I would never think that I would have the confidence to get in front of television, and even thinking to be a judge on a TV show, a host, or even a cooking show that I've done the last couple of years. And those things does come within time. So you guys out there, when you're at that 13, 14 years old, and you're probably the one that's getting bullied out there, I guarantee you're going to be so successful, because the ones who get bullied, I'm telling you, when I interview so many people and talk to so many models and successful people in all kind of business, those people have something really special about them.
Yeah.
And you're that way. I want to know about that. I want to know about growing up, having people say no to you, having people make you feel less confident. What about you that allow you to break through that and be here today?
Well, thank you. First off, no, my biggest thing would just be, if it's something that you really, really love and it's something that really makes you happy, nobody can take that away from you. So regardless of how many times people told me like, oh, you can't walk a runway show, or you can't be on the cover of this or whatever, or you're never going to be in this magazine, I always told myself, I was like, look, prove that person wrong. Like, and I don't know if that's part of my my athletic background where I'm just like, look, I'm competitive. I'm one of four in my family. I have two brothers. Like, my dad's ex-military, so it's like if we want something, we go out after something in the Sanders family. And just for me, it was just like, look, I want to do modeling. This is something that I really want to do. And I don't want to be in some specific little box just because they put me in it. Like, for a long time when, excuse me, when I first started modeling at 13, I was known as just the fresh new face in the beauty model. So it was this.
Yes.
That's all you
I remember
got to see
that.
with me. And I was like, I loved it because I love beauty and my mom's a makeup artist. So I love all of those things naturally. But at the same time, it was like, yeah, but I want to be able to show what my body type looks like as a young girl, and what I look like in South Carolina, and my skin complexion. And I've had moments where there were certain people in the industry that were just like, well, don't tan right now. Like, stay out of the sun a little bit, because like you might work a little bit more if you look a little lighter during this season. And I was like, yeah, well, this is what I look like all the time. If I go out in the sun and I have fun and I like just enjoy my life. And so many things for a long time in the industry were kind of draining. Draining in a way where it was just like, and I didn't realize it. And it's because I was so soaked up in how much I loved my work. But it was just like from people saying you have to look a certain way, or your hair should be a certain way, or whatever.
Isn't that interesting?
It takes away from you getting to know yourself.
Well, funny enough, we go through this roller coaster in this business, right? For you as a model, when you get cast, let's say for Glamour magazine shoot, you get that instant confidence. I booked a job. That means they like me. And then on that day when you walk in, it's another wall that you have to then face. Does the photographer like me? Do they like my complexion today? Like that, what you're saying. Do they like my complexion today? Because I was out in the sun beaching yesterday. I was working in a yard yesterday, whatever.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, do they like my hair texture today? It's a constant beat down in our industry. And that's the dirty side of it. And I'll be honest to say that. We are in an industry.
And it's like, I don't
so
even feel like, some of the time, I don't even feel like they're trying to be mean. Like, they're like, don't get tan lines today. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to get tan lines, but like, what does that even mean? Like, it's just every little thing is kind of controlled in a way. And you're just like, let me breathe. So now that I don't know, now that I'm getting closer to 30, I'm 28, I'll be 29 this year. And I've just come into more of myself, knowing what makes me happy, knowing that if I can fight for my hair to be curly during a shoot, I would love for it to be, because I don't want to hide that part of me. And it's just like, I don't know, embracing it. Like, a lot of people are like, oh my God, you have such a great butt. I'm like, babe, I've always had a butt, but I had to get rid of it for a while. Or I like had to tone it, or like angle it a different way, but now I can embrace it. So I do love where the industry has taken that turn to where they've opened up to people that not only look like me body wise and have the same background or whatever. Like, they're more open. We're getting there. We're not quite there yet.
All right, guys. So the last question I was asking you, we'll just pick it back up about confidence at such a young age, and also how the industry have changed, and how have you evolved? And almost 30, now you're embracing yourself more. Let's continue with that.
It sounds so crazy for you to even say it. I'm like, when I say it, it sounds a little like easy. Like, woo, we're getting there. No. My biggest thing with confidence would have to be, I'm an open book for the most part, especially with people that okay, let's start that over. If I trust you, I'm an open book. So, I trust you, and I always open up to you, and especially when we're on our trips and stuff like that. It's just a good time for me to vent, and those times I feel are the best for me to recharge. And what really helps me to be able to walk into rooms and be that confident person and do the things that I do every day. because I have so many supportive people behind me. I struggle from my own anxiety and panic attacks and my own moments where I just look at myself and I'm like, maybe you shouldn't try that just yet because you're not ready, or like you need to still perfect this craft a little bit more and then you can move on to the next one. I have my own struggles. I have my own obstacles and stuff that I go through, but I think that the biggest part about me being able to have confidence is really being able to know myself well enough and be able to know when I need help and I need to open up to my friends, or I need to open up to my family or my mom or whatever, and really just talk things out. And I feel like they really help me and kind of put that battery back in my back to do things. And like,
well, between 13-year-old Golden Barbie to
yeah,
the almost 30-year-old Golden Barbie, do you remember that moment when you look in the mirror and you say, I'm happy of who I am. This is me, and I'm going to embrace it. Doesn't matter what anybody else says.
yeah, that was that was actually, and this is a fun moment. That was actually when I was in New York, and it was right before I found out about Sports Illustrated. I went to a casting for Victoria's Secret show, and I adore them. Like, they are also my family. I love them to death, but they can even tell you I went there when I was super young. I wasn't ready yet. And I myself can say, without the outside perspective, without knowing the opinions that were in the room or whatever, I know I wasn't ready yet. I've had my own talks with my higher power to know that it wasn't my time to have that moment. And I had to find ways around that. But once I got to, oh God, how old was I? That was like 2 years ago, a year ago. I don't know. 2 years ago now, because I've now shot with you for my second year at Sports Illustrated. So yeah, 2 years ago, I went to Victoria's Secret casting and I tried out for the show, and I didn't get it that year, but I know how hard I really worked on myself. And whether that was talking to a therapist, talking to my trainer, working out in the gym, my physical, my inside, everything from the inside out, I made sure that I was the best version of myself. So regardless of what those people said in that room, and regardless of if I got a yes or a no, I was still okay, because I knew how hard I tried. So it was really just taking that moment to get to go that hard.
And honestly, I can
foods, all of those things. Like,
I know we have our conversations on a trip, and I think this is such an important note for people to know that your ability and when is right for something, it has no boundaries by age. Because I would say 10 years ago, when you said somebody's almost 30 hitting a runway for Victoria's Secret or trying to get a job, which is one of your goals, people would just say no. And you were surrounded by great agents, and we can give a shout out to John, and I worked with him for many, many years, who believe in a type of model you are. And there are different type of models out there. There are commercial models, and I'll be honest, when I saw your name, when I first started, you were not on the list of, oh, I need to shoot with her. And this is the reason why.
I know.
I'll tell you why.
I made you.
That's right. Because everybody would tell me, and people would tell me, you don't need to shoot her. She's a commercial girl. She's not going to last. She's come and go. You want this model, she's cash girl. She's going to make money. She's going to be here. She's going to sell, and she's going to be gone. Yep. But you know me, and you know my work, and you follow my work. I'm all about cash girls.
Yeah, he's like, I like cash girls.
We all like cash. And I'm all about commercial girls, because I know commercial girls can turn and change into editorial girls, but editorial girls not necessarily can convert the other way. But our industry didn't embrace that back then. It took people like John, your agent, took different kind of agents who really did support my vision and said, you know what, you go ahead and shoot Kay Upton. Prove them wrong. You go ahead and embrace bodies like Golden Barbie. That's what you love, keep doing it. And I think you had that support system around you, and I think that is so important. We talk about body confidence, we talk about having confidence and strength for yourself, but we need help, guys.
Yeah,
we need external help.
You need a really good supportive team around you. Like, that's my biggest thing, because It's really hard to give girls advice because I'm like, I can't sum up 15, 16 years of what I've been through and let you know what to do for that one casting. I can let
But
you
we
know
do
to go in
know.
there as a clean slate. I can let you know to like look as a clean slate so they know what they're working with, but at the same time, show your personality, have photos to show, have all of that. But when it really gets down to it, it's having that good support system. So whether
Absolutely.
it's your mother agent, like I have a really amazing mother agent in South Carolina. Her name's Sheila Dixon. She is incredible. She works at Millie Lewis and she has taken care of me since day one. But if it wasn't for her going and seeing my mom and getting makeup and doing stuff at the store very close to our agency, we would have never crossed paths. Right. And being able to have that meeting and just allowing myself to be like, oh my God, this lady's taking time on me and I'm 13. Like I'm a baby. I know nothing about the industry. And for some reason, she believes in me. So if this is something I really want to take serious, let me do it. And I took the meeting with her. I remember we did a test shoot. We sent those photos to New York, and I was really lucky. I got signed right away. A lot of girls don't get that opportunity. So it's even having that one person and just knowing like deep down, like in your gut feeling, like this person might really ride with me and they might really like support me and see exactly what I see in my vision. And she did. I then met other agencies, went through other agencies, did all of that. But it's really about having that support system. Like I have John, like you said, at Society. I also have Chris Gay. I have Madeline, who I talk to every day, who's constantly like, even just down to like TikToks to anything, like she's helping me stay on top of everything that I need to do. And also like Madeline helps me with like my charity work and stuff that she really knows that I care about, because even though that we can be these pretty faces and be these cool characters and do all of these things through our work, it's fun, but at the end of the day, you're not doing anything if you can't give back. And I've also always said that I've loved Instagram because I felt like it was the one platform that gave me a voice, because I was able to post my photos and also tell you what I was feeling in that moment that I took that photo, or what it took for me to get to that stage or get my body to that point. So it's always been that for me. I've never wanted anyone to run my page or anything, because it's always been things
authenticity.
If you go to my page, it's things that I really, if I'm promoting it, it's because I really genuinely not only love that person's work, whether it's your photography. I love your photography, but I adore you as a person, like beyond your work. So it's like you calling me to, like, he literally called me in the middle of the night, guys. And by the way, he texts quicker than anyone.
I'm so fast.
I was like, I don't know how he messages so fast, but like you were on it right away. And I was just like, look, I remember our conversation when we were shooting, and I remember how good I felt when I went back to my hotel room, and I was just like, wow, a weight has really been lifted, because
I'll remind everybody that moment.
Talk to people. Yeah,
I think it's important people to remember that moment. The very first time we met, we actually shot for In Style magazine.
Yes.
And it was a commercial. I mean, I love the shoot so much. It was so beautiful. And then look at you. I mean, come on. How can I not fall in love with you? But what was most important was that
was like quarantine at its finest.
Yes, but what was so important about that day was that it was realness from the moment that we met. You came up to me and you said, about time. What took you so long? And I stood there and I go, you know what? I wasn't ready. Yeah. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for you. It wasn't that you weren't ready for me. You were ready for me. But I wasn't. And I'll tell you why. Because the industry had taught me who you were in a perspective that I couldn't see. But you know what saved our relationship was truly your Instagram. It's truly the authenticity, what you put out there. And when I saw those pictures, I go, oh my God, No, the Glamour magazine doesn't talk about who you are. All these editorial runways. You listen, everyone. Jasmine has done so much. She's been TV host. She's been on runways for editorial. She's been doing, I mean, beyond all the things you see out there. But what was very fascinating to me that day when we talked, you said to me, you said, you shoot Sports Illustrated. Why am I not in it? You literally called me and said, why am I not in it? And my answer to you is, I don't get to decide. But I will make sure they know this conversation. And the next day, I call MJ. I send her the picture from our beautiful shoot from our InStyle shoot. And I sent it to her. I said, meet her. Because in the Sports Illustrated family, there's about 24 girls an issue. It's very little. It's like the VS show, right? A very small amount of, and you might not be the one they look for this year, not because you're not beautiful. And I hate to say this, but some days they need to look for Asian girls. Some days they need to do diversity. And we have these categories we keep setting. And at that time, the industry hasn't changed. But the industry changed with this hashtag Me Too movement. Yeah. When that movement happened, can I tell you, I saw a spark that highlighted you as a model and your career took off like nobody's business. I truly don't believe that before Me Too, some of these doors would have opened for both you and I. Yeah. I could not get into meet with Team Vogue and never shoot for Team Vogue. 15 years in this business, my bucket list should shoot for Team Vogue. Yep. I can't get in there. I shot for 17, I shot everybody. I couldn't get into Team Vogue. But because of Me Too,
oh my God, you're doing so well. And you're like, yeah, but I have that one box.
Remember, I told you that. Yeah. I go, what are you talking about? There's one little flick that came. Yep. The moment the Me Too movement happened, photographer who are on the list and now has a list of approved photographers. And when I found out I am the top 10 Condé Nast approved photographer to shoot under Condé Nast brand, I'm already approved by hers because I'm working with them. That was like the moment I go, oh my gosh, wait a minute. The industry is changing. And the way I look at model needs to change. The way I approach my photo shoot needs to change. And you know me, my mouth has no filters, and God knows how many inappropriate things I probably have said.
But that's why I love you. Like, you get on set and you're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know, it feels sexy. You don't like it? You're like, no. I'm like, okay.
I'm pretty raw in how I feel. But you know what really got me was that I'm looking at you that day, and I said, of all the things you've done Tommy, you've done product, you've done everything. Why did you want to do SI? Why did you want to do SI? Do you remember that?
SI was like, no, I definitely remember it because I remember Victoria's Secret and SI being at the top of my list. And my reasons,
me too.
Yeah. But no, my reasons for Sports Illustrated was because I always looked at those magazines and I was like, number one was everyone was so stuck on seeing my face. So they left me in this weird category of being a very young child for a long time.
And we thought you were really short, by the way. We all thought you were short.
You didn't have to go there.
But you're not. But you're not. That's the thing.
But no, they thought I was like some tiny little curly head girl. Yes. And they were like, oh, we can sell her as a 16-year-old as long as we want. And
I think you did so much 17 magazine. You like had like whole 20 pages.
And I was like, guys, I'm a full-grown woman. Thank you. And I have a butt. And everybody was constantly like, no, just lose a little weight. And I was like, guys, I can't. I'm a woman. This is the size I'm supposed to be. And I want to embrace it. And then I finally, I went to Sports Illustrated before. And again, it wasn't my time. And then I had John my agent John walk me into Sports Illustrated. And I remember him knowing everyone. And I was just like, how do you know everyone and they don't know me? Like, I need them to know me and love me. And I remember him telling me, he was like, don't worry, you just go in there and be yourself and just have fun and talk to MJ. And you're like, I'm sure that you're going to have her. And I remember walking out of the casting and he was like, you were in there for so long. And I
remember he emailed me
about our family, our dogs, Ancestry.com. Like, we did not talk about modeling at all.
But what's funny that John did email me prior to that meeting and said, what should I tell Jasmine when she meets MJ? And I go, just be herself, because that's what MJ is. Yesterday, I had an amazing talk with MJ. If you guys missed it, go on YouTube and check it out. Is that you'll realize that she's the most authentic human being. And when you meet someone who's authentic, you cannot be a fake. So there's nothing I could have coached you other than just go in and be yourself. And
I remember she flipped through and she literally closed my book and put it to the side and was like, let's talk.
That's right. And guess what happened that talk led to? That talk led to be the Rookie of the Year 2019. So,
which was also insane because I did not think that was happening. And they could not get me on the phone to even announce it because I didn't think it was real.
Well, what was really lovely about that year for me was that the rookies were the new cast of girls. The rookies were Winnie Hollow. They were powerful women.
I was like, there was a lot of us, and I was scared.
There were a lot, and every single one of you guys could have been Rookie of the Year. And the guys, just so you know, out there, Rookie of the Year is determined by the votes of the public as well as editors. There's a lot of involvement. And not only do they look at your picture, they look at your involvement in the community. They want to, you know, because SI truly is not just about that 1-day photo shoot or 2-day photo shoot. It is about your longevity as a brand ambassador. And that brand ambassadorship is not something that we can teach you. It has to be something you're born inside. You have to believe in yourself the way you believe in yourself. And when your time stays right, then your time glows and shine. And that's when you get this moment. And only thing about that moment, I'll tell you what, let me tell you something. There was something I did not like about that moment. You know what it was? I didn't get to shoot it. I was mad.
I was like, what did I do with my toe?
No, I was like, MJ, I love this girl. I've been talking about her. She meets you guys. And I wrote John. I said, John.
Yeah, well, what's behind your head?
This happened. We're going to talk about that. But I couldn't be more proud. And reason, not because you got SI Rookie of the Year, because now you have a platform to be able to share with people your authenticity. And I think we can have lots more conversation than today. And you're absolutely right off the top, guys, that Jasmine is so open and so authentic when she trusts you, because it's not that easy. We can laugh right now and talk about it. Both of us went through a very similar path to get here. Her bucket list of Victoria's Secret, I have as well. I end up shooting with them. Time have changed. Maybe I'll be back with him again. That's a whole different talk show about that journey. And then VS, SI, it's the same thing. It was my bucket list, and I wanted to be there. 2006, I shot for 2009. I shot for.
And now when we go to shoot, we're like, I hope he's my photographer. Please, please, please.
Can I tell you that's the biggest honor to actually be requested by you guys, because the dynamic in the business have changed, you guys. It has changed. No longer the photographer holds the power. And that's probably the best thing that ever happened, because I came from advertising background. I came from creative director background. When I used to be on set, photographers are the gods. They decide whatever they think so, and the models are to do whatever they're told. Well, with SI, has never been that way. And I fell in love with that way of working. And I'm very collaborative that way. So when the industry started shifting, I knew at that time, I'm going to have a chance to get to where I need to be again. You know, and that moment, and Team Vogue was that very moment. And be able to celebrate 10 years with SI in Kenya, it was insane. I mean, 10 years in full circle. My background is in wildlife biology, so I actually get to go back to Kenya where I actually lived to shoot. It was like, they didn't even know. When I got there, I go, guys, you know, this is my 10th year trip with you guys, and you took me back to before I was even a photographer to where I was a biologist.
I'm having a whole moment, and you guys aren't here yet.
You know what I mean? It was, and that's why I think it's so powerful now that I hope you do get online more to speak more about your stories, because it does. I mean, it made me cry that day. So I'm going to jump into that. So we went to Bali together.
Oh my gosh.
This was a magical
trip. I cried like so many times on that trip.
It was, well, the land was so beautiful. The people were so warm, and the food was fantastic. And this was in a rice field that we climbed up, and then we climbed down, and we climbed back up. And this moment, if anybody could be there to see behind the scenes later that we're on a little cliff that literally only fit one person. She could have fell.
He was screaming at me because I wanted to lean back on a tree that was like right here. And I was like, no, I got it. And he's like,
and somebody's holding my
my
swimsuit from the back so I wouldn't fall. Because the camera was literally like almost in your face.
I was like, I'm sorry, I just want to get a good shot.
And then can I tell you, that was a moment I knew that how much you trusted me and how much we trust each other. And then the picture from there on, I don't know, this is a spoiler alert, but I'm gonna say it anyways. I hope Esa doesn't get mad at me. But one of the most epic photos I've ever done is with you with a beautiful elephant. I have chills of that day, and I think there's a sneak. You know what? They did release a sneak preview of.
They released a photo of me with an elephant. So
yeah, so it's cool. But you guys, it was so magical.
I tell you,
it was amazing the way you embrace that moment. And oh my God, can I tell you, it was like back in the day, I'm observing some rare species of animal I discovered for the first time in a Serengeti. I'm never speechless. That was me when I was shooting. Remember? You're like, you said, do you like it? You're not saying anything. I go, what's there to say? What is there to say?
I was like, is it okay? I don't know what to do. It's so big. You're like, just go with it. Just go with it. Feel it. And I remember
and
the
you
thugs
did. And
were
you did.
so loud. And it was raining. And then one elephant was just so hungry and pregnant. There was so much going on.
but we laugh at those moments, and then after the shoot's over, we're able to sit down and really talk about just, I'm from Middle America, you're from South Carolina, and those turmoils. And I want to encourage you guys, DM her, because her story will inspire you. And not everyone has an easy path to where they're at. And I know Instagram, TikTok, they make everybody feel like, oh, they're living their best life. But truly, I think you guys have the hardest responsibility online, because let's talk about that. Putting anything out there, you're now responsible not only for your own self-image, you're responsible for reflecting what you want other people to feel, and having millions of followers, that's a responsibility.
Yeah, I try to show people both sides. It's really hard, and it's also really hard because at the same time I am a very private person. So I am one that gets very scared, because whether it's especially relationships, like let's get into that. Talking about relationships online alone, or like sharing my home, is something that I will forever keep more personal. I may show you a little glimpse, but at the same time, I try not to show too much. I've been offered like reality TV shows and stuff like that, but I never want someone to enter my home in that way, just because I never got into modeling for fame. I got into modeling because I love what I do, and I literally, what you said, I want a platform to where I can work with more charities, to where I can give back more, to where I can help in some type of way. Before any of this, I was going to school for nursing because I was like, I don't know if modeling is gonna work.
You see how similar we are?
I'm like, I don't think modeling is gonna work. So as soon as you're like, hey, we're donating masks, I'm like, thank you for saying that, because my best friend who I was doing those classes with, and who was actually doing all the cutting and dissecting because I was terrified of blood, she's the one that made it, and she's in nuclear medicine, and she's awesome, and she's gorgeous and smart. I couldn't continue. So now my job is to get this beautiful platform and just give back where I can.
And you're doing it you're doing it in the most beautiful, most bold, and sometimes sexy and hot.
I try.
But can I tell you?
You do all that while you're at home in a bikini. I'm like, yeah, if I could get back in a bikini, I would do all of those things. But no, it's seriously, the biggest thing for me is, like, one of my agents, not only Madeline helps me with charity work, but I also have Sherry at Society, who is huge on letting me know whether there's something that I can do that's involved within charity, something I can do to use my voice in the industry, or a march that's going on in my town at whatever time. She is the go-to person that, like, I may not get her to message me every week about a job, but she will message me on when I need to pay attention to something that's going on in politics or this or that, like just something that I need to know and I need to educate myself about, and also use my platform to educate others. So I can't take all the credit because my agents really do help me stay in tune with it, especially when we're not going through everything we're going through right now. Like, I'm lucky because I'm sitting at home and I can take the time to look on websites and look online and watch the news and stuff like that. But when I'm traveling all the time, sometimes it feels like I'm under a rock and I don't know what's going on in the world, because the world's moving so fast, but I have my own little world that is trying to, like, put out the next magazine or do this or do that. And
But
I'm like, I didn't know this was happening.
But what I love about you, you're not just a model. You're a girl's girl. You're also a boy's girl. You're kind of that. You can hang with the boys, and you can hang with the girls. And you know how it is in this business. Some female models don't get along with female models. They're just like, they only hear. But you truly are a girl's girl. You got your girl's power around you, and you don't change when you're with them, and you empower them. And I see you do it. I see when we shoot.
Because they don't change when they're with me either. And like, that's my biggest thing is, and that's regardless of anyone I cross paths with that's not even in the industry. As long as you can be genuine, you can be real, you can be honest from the jump, I trust you. I'll give you my love, I'll give you my heart. I will give everything, but as soon as I feel like I don't trust you anymore, you're dead to me. I'm sorry. But my girls in the industry are exactly that, and the guys too, because the guys don't get enough credit in this industry. The male models are the same with us as well. Like, there are some days that we are so bored and the girls are literally just sitting and they do the dumbest stuff just to keep us laughing, getting us waters, whatever. I'm like, I don't even care if you think I'm cute and you're just doing it because you think I'm cute. You are helping me because I'm having a panic attack and I have to get down that runway in a second. So I don't know, but even like the girls that I really hold close in the industry and I do photo shoots and I do fashion shows with, they've been very supportive. They've not only, like, there's been times where I've gotten off a runway and came out and I was literally just panting. I couldn't stop. And I was like, oh my God, the finale's about to come up and I can't get out. And seeing girls run out of the line and grabbing their pictures off of the hangers and like fanning me and getting me water and stuff. I was like, you have no idea. I was about to really pass out. I'm not dramatic. Like, okay, I'm kind of dramatic, but when it comes to my work, I'm not gonna pass out.
But that's
I was like really losing it, and like seeing how many people were supportive backstage, or like people that check on you afterwards, or even down to like the girls that are dressing you that barely get any credit. I adore them.
Well, that's one thing I'll give you credit for.
So much.
Because one of the things in this industry that we can look at you and think you have a perfect life and hashtag living the best life at all times. But in fact, that there are struggles, and I know a lot of models like your same situation that all have their own security or their struggle with panic attacks and nerves. These are the things I'm so happy you're sharing, because that's what makes you human, and that's what makes us forever growing and find people that we trust, that we can work together. Because, you know, I told MJ this yesterday. She goes, oh, every time you show up, you're so excited on a shoot. And I go, well, my assignment's actually nerves.
You're like, because it takes me a lot to get there. I'm laughing because I'm freaking out.
Listen, I'm the craziest little clown. People see me on different TV shows, but the person screaming the loudest in the room, most of the time, the most insecure person in the room. And that
they're probably screaming on the inside too, babe.
And I had to learn that and adjust that over time. I did. I mean, one thing with you and I is that people got to see us grow up in front of the camera. People see us grow up in front of pages of the magazines, and we're work in progress. And I could not appreciate more the industry have shifted and allowing. I know a lot of people don't say negative things on Instagram because you're posting stuff. I love the word influencer.
Yeah.
That word has such a negativity for a very long time.
Yep.
But you know what? If the influencers are influencing you or influence young people to be better, to challenge yourself to be better, I'll take that title before I take the photographer title. Because what good is a picture I take doesn't influence anything I do? Then I might as well just put that away in my shoebox and call it a day. And you know.
Well, I like how you put that, because I will say when it first started, I hated being called an influencer, because I was like, I have worked for so long for you guys to know me as a model. I'm just trying to get super in front of it, and you just put influencer in front of my name. Like, so it really hurt me for a long time. And then I had to really look at it and think about it. And I was like, well, you're showing your lifestyle. You're, at the end of the day, you are trying to show people workouts that really work for you. You're trying to show your hair products that really work for you, your skin products, the things that, same with like anxiety, whatever makes me like me working out. Everybody's like, oh my God, you're doing it for your body. You're trying to lose weight. No, I'm trying to calm down. I'm trying to calm myself down, and it actually works. So if you try it, you might like it. But that's the part of me that's like, I'm an influencer in that way. But at the same time, I don't like people to think that influencer means that that person is perfect or on a platform, or we have this cookie cutter White House that nothing gets messed up. I'm like, no, I'm training a dog. He's driving me crazy right now. I adore him. I think that everyone should foster.
You didn't pick an easy one. You pick a husky or
I like that was my biggest thing.
Huskies are tough.
I love animals. I should foster. I should do this during this time, because it's the time that I have off. I've wanted another dog for so long, and I love them. And I'm all about adopt, don't shop. Like, make sure you adopt. There are so many beautiful. I just got a gorgeous husky. He is amazing.
They're
he's
not
a little
easy.
terror right now. He's terrible too.
Well, we're coming close to our time, and we can talk forever. But I do have couple Q&As that people have texted and DM in over the last couple of days. So let's go for that. So with some of the stuff we already covered, and this is a great question actually. With being able to accomplish so much in the fashion industry already, and making different influences in different market that you're talking about, donations and fundraisers and charity, what is it that you feel like you haven't done that you would like to achieve?
Ooh, so, this is really random. I love this question. This is really random. So I've always wanted to be a dental hygienist.
Wow.
Yeah. And I know it's really random. And with that, I've always wanted to work with Smile Train. And I wanted to go to Africa and like help the babies, be with them, nurture them through it, like be there when they go into surgery, be there after everything. Actually, I think Karushi Tran works with them, and she's a good friend of mine. And every time she goes, I'm like, how can I go? How can I go? What can I do to go? So that's one thing that I really want to do. And then I'm not sure the charity that she works with, but I know Poppy Delavigne works with a lot of charities, and they're always ones that seem to like really strike my attention and get me like, oh my God, I need to find some way to help. And she reached out to me recently for her next trip. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I will be doing that. If I take a break from work, my agents, I'm sorry, but I need to do these things for me.
It's amazing. And it's funny that the question was what you haven't done. The fact
it's
is
not
that
work.
but you're doing it. But you're actually doing it. The journey you've taken, you're actually doing it. You know, that's what's so beautiful about it. It's not something that's on a bucket list that you're like, oh, I won't be able to achieve this. This is something you will do, and you will accomplish it.
It's within this year. This year has slowed me down a little bit, but we'll get
Here's
there.
another question for you.
Yeah.
You look always fearless in your TikTok now. You have a whole TikTok fan base, and you look fearless all the time in your photos. But what truly is your biggest fear? Well, that's a great question, actually.
Fear. Oh my God. With like TikToks and social media?
No, just your biggest fear, I think.
I struggle with acceptance sometimes. Like even down to like you guys not liking my voice. Like a lot of people don't like my voice. I didn't like my voice for a long time, which held me back from hosting shows, getting into acting, doing all of these things. And honestly, TikTok has done nothing but help me feel more comfortable on camera, talking, doing voiceovers, doing my stupid, like, honestly, if you watch my TikTok, you really know me because my Instagram is like the beautiful version of me. Like
Oh, my favorite
TikTok,
was when you had that no makeup on and you went boop, bam. I was like,
no, but it's not even that. It's like my voiceovers, it's the movies I watch, it's everything. So you just feel the characters different. But like you see me in the house, if you know Philip, obviously, like if you guys follow me, you know Philip, he's my best friend. He's crazy as hell, but he's also the battery in my back. He helps me be this funny person, and this is what he has to deal with on a 9 to 5. So,
but I actually feel like it's part of your journey to get better at something, right? It's an incredible journey and a platform to utilize it to. Listen, I hated my own voice. I didn't like the way I look and all that stuff. Yeah. When I couldn't watch the shows I'm on. Now, I almost want to say I don't care.
Dude, I used to beg my agents for auditions and they'd send them to me and I'd be like, nah. And I'm like, I prayed for that. I prayed for it to show up. It showed up and I'm running again. So that's the biggest thing for me is like, stop running from stuff. Like I have so many friends that are just telling me like, have fun, just enjoy it. Like, who cares if somebody, they're going to judge you whether you're good or not. Like we still judge, I don't know, Denzel. He's hot, but we judge him anyway. He's a great actor, but you'll still have something to say. So
you're almost 30 now. What would you say to the 13-year-old? You can give her the best advice.
Ooh, to have fun and to spend more time with your family.
That's a great advice. I think through this pandemic, I learned a lot about how important family is and how important to engage and talk. And those people who think they know me, that I'm always in quarantine. I never leave my house. So this quarantine,
I'm like, I love this. This is easy.
I'm gonna admit that to you too. The only difference is that I don't have somebody help me clean the house. I don't have my housekeeper, and I have to learn how to clean that. That's all. I'm not kidding. I had this whole talk with my friend the other day. I was like, I know you guys are struggling, but I'm not. My life hasn't changed because I don't have people over. I don't go drinking. I don't really go out. I still binge watch Housewives.
I mean, I might drink, but I do all of that here. I have my own bar. I have my pool. I'm good. I'm situated, so I don't really leave my house, but I am definitely. I'm a homebody, but I love my friends to come to me. So that's the biggest part.
I do have to say, the opportunity of this time has given me the opportunity to be able to create Let's Talk and be able to create conversations that people have not talked about. And I encourage you to share more of these kind of conversations. We didn't get too deep because we don't know crying during this time. We only want to smile during this time. But maybe next time you can ask me the questions and then the tears will come.
The best part is I warned my friends that they were like, are you ready for tomorrow? I was like, I'm actually scared because I think he'll get me to cry.
Well, you know what? It's funny enough that you said that, but through this talk, I wanted people to be in the most positive light. There's plenty of time we can cry. There's plenty of time
babe, just because I'm crying doesn't mean I'm not happy. You know me. I cry over everything.
Well, I am so happy that you're now part of the Sports Illustrated family, and then thank you for Sports Illustrated to dedicate this next entire week. I'm talking to all the girls, 5 girls from Sports Illustrated. They all come with a very different point of view, and I wanted you to lead this path because your generosity and not just in financial support and the donations, but the love that you share, you give, and it's so much deeper and deeper level. You guys, please reach out to her, DM her, and with any questions you may have. I could not be more happy and smile with you. And you know what? And we'll cry together one day, and we'll talk about other stuff that's deeper one day. But for now,
well, I was gonna say we can do these whenever you want. Now I'm not scared of you on camera because I know how deep our talk got. We had wine last time we talked.
Oh, we did.
Got a little deeper.
Yes, and you know what? ultimately, at the end of the day, that conversation that we had was that learn to trust yourself, learn to trust the people around you, give the opportunity to embrace others. And those are, and I learned so much from you from that discussion, and we'll go deeper in the future. But truly, what you have taught me is be able to be vulnerable and be able to just speak my mind and trust. And you know that as much verbal and verbose I am all the time, I'm guarded as well, right?
Yeah.
I'm guarded at what people think of my
we
work.
all are. Babe,
You
you're
know,
only speaking to the choir. We all are. As much as we give advice and tell everybody what you should do, you're literally like, wait, I didn't listen to myself.
no.
Like,
And we all, and just because we look like we're living the best life, just so that we're just like you, we all have our own insecurities and we're all working through it. And through that, at least you get to do it in a more sexy way than I get to. So.
oh, whatever. You didn't.
Oh yeah, that SI give me the confidence to always my little Speedo, and I'm good with it. I'm proud of it. And
But the best part is you were like, no, honey, do this. This is how you do. I was like, yeah. Oh my God, my photos are so much better now.
Well, thank you so much, and we're gonna dance together on the beaches again. We'll be in the studio shooting again, and thank you for waiting for me to be ready for you. You were always ready for me, and I appreciate that so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. And we will upload this to the live on IG, and as well, it will be on YouTube, probably about 48 hours. And you guys, again, Jasmine Sanders, and I'm so happy that I get to speak to you today. Have a great weekend, everyone.
I appreciate it, babe.